Welcome to another episode of the Antifragility Reframe podcast. As you know, we're doing a series that is focusing on alumni stories about antifragility and reframe. I am Dr. Frank Douglas, the host of the Antifragility Reframe podcast. And my guest today is Ms. Isabel Amaya, a fourth year PhD graduate student, very close to completing her PhD. She's at the University of Michigan, and she is doing her PhD in virology. She's studying a virus that is responsible for transforming cells into cancerous cells. A very exciting area and extremely important area. We all know the tremendous problems we have with cancer. Almost Dr. Amaya. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Douglas.
Well, as you know, we are really looking for stories during your time as an undergraduate, which were challenging, which you overcame, and with the hope that hearing your stories can be helpful to present undergraduates. So, can you share with us one of the most challenging episodes you had and experienced while you were an undergraduate?
Yeah, so we were just reflecting that it's been 10 years since I first started at Lehigh. And I remember when I first got to Lehigh, I come from a predominantly Latino and Black community on Long Island and called Westbury. And so that was my upbringing. And when I got to Lehigh, I had come from being the top student in my high school. I was very confident and super excited to start my college career. And I was very quickly humbled. Um, and I think I was a little shocked to realize that many people did not come from similar backgrounds or upbringing as I did. And I felt very out of place. I struggled to adjust. I really felt like maybe this space was not meant for me to be in. I was struggling academically and personally adjusting to this new transition, being away from home, being in an area of science that I felt like I was learning a new language sometimes. And so that was a very big adjustment, that first transition to college, and being in this new community that felt very foreign to me.
Tell me, was there anything that happened that helped you to deal with this change? Did you have a sort of a change in perspective, a change in attitude? And was
Yeah.
there any one person, student, professor, or a circumstance that helped you to change that perspective?
Yeah, I felt very lucky when I got to Lehigh. I was part of the first cohort of rare students, the readily accelerated research experience, which Dr. Ware and Dr. Neil Simon facilitated this program. And so I was part of a cohort of students that came from similar backgrounds, underrepresented in science, and I had them to lean on, thankfully. And some of my best friends come from that program. And we, I think, shared a unique experience where we similarly felt that um, we didn't necessarily belong. We struggled academically, but thankfully we had that community amongst ourselves. And I also found the community service office at Lehigh University, which really allowed me to connect to the Bethlehem community. And there's also like a Latino population there that really helped me feel like I had a home. And I think those two communities that I was a part of really helped me feel grounded and that I could belong and I could find people with shared experiences. And that really makes a big difference.
You said a number of things that are so important. Belonging and finding communities on the Lehigh campus in sciences, uh, finding communities off campus in the Bethlehem area, you know, uh, which shared your background and culture. And so this feeling of belonging was just very important and contributed to your success at Lehigh. Um, could you share with us how that actually, in a way, made you feel?
Yeah. I think so. I'm first gen Salvadorian, and you know, where I grew up, community is very big, right? Like big family parties, everyone shows up for each other, incredibly supportive. And I think it felt like I had a home. And I think that was very important, being able to find people who I could um, have a shared identity with or shared experiences with. Um, Helped me feel like I actually belonged, and like I could be myself, right? And I didn't have to like pretend to be this other person in these spaces, because I could just be me. So I think that was really important, for me.
Yeah, no, so often we talk about the importance of being your authentic self. And I
Yeah.
think often people do not understand that when you can't be your authentic self, the significant stress that that places on someone. When we talk about anti-fragile, as a matter of fact, as we often mention, we took on the term anti-fragile because it comes from Nassim Taleb's book Anti-Fragile, in which he really talks about resilience. Resilience is bouncing back from stress. But wouldn't it be great if actually a stressful episode caused you to be stronger, so you got stronger because of that stress? And I like to say resilience is bouncing back, but anti-fragility is bouncing forward. So
Mhm.
as we think about anti-fragility bouncing forward, now you're in graduate school. Are there any episodes in graduate school that you faced and in which when you look at it, the things that were a challenge for you at Lehigh in those early days, which you overcame, which that helped that you can share?
Yeah, I think the experiences I had at Lehigh have really shaped me. And I think they've allowed me to show up as my authentic self in now as a PhD candidate. I think there's still that feeling of I don't really see myself always in this field, right? But I think I have gained the confidence and perspective to know that my identity matters. And so I'm able to go to conferences and connect with students who may identify with me on varying levels, right? As a scientist, Latina, woman in STEM. And so one way that I can think of is as an undergrad, I went to ABRACAMS, which is an animal biomedical research conference for minoritized students. And I remember going as undergrad with Dr. Ware, and that was a pivotal experience for me where I got to see so many people in science from different backgrounds, different races, ethnicities. And I've gone back as a graduate student and to see the excitement of younger trainees who are in their early undergrad careers, seeing me as a PhD student or as a judge at their poster. And you can tell their excitement, like seeing someone that they can relate to in the field that they're maybe interested in joining. So I think I've learned that, my identity matters. Being in these spaces can make a difference for the younger generation of students. And so I will always show up for them. And I will always try to do my best to continue being a mentor and advocate, so that we can have, a diverse, and inclusive science environment for them in the future.
One of the elements that we talk about in becoming anti-fragile is collaborating, innovating together. And one of the things that often happens in graduate school is that you're working in a lab and sometimes you have to collaborate. Has that been your experience in your present PhD?
Yeah, collaboration is huge. We have joint lab meetings, we give seminars and to different research groups, right, where we have to be able to talk about our science and get feedback, give and get feedback. So yeah, that's a big part of what we do.
And did the RARE program at Lehigh prepare you for this?
Yeah, I think the RARE program was a a truly unique experience where, we were a group of students with various interests in what we wanted to do in science, and we were able to come together with um, one similarity, right? We were all interested in science in general, very broadly, and so bringing together the different interests that we all had, being able to talk about it, go present our research at these conferences that are not um, research area specific, has allowed me to be able to, talk about the work that I do to different groups, and communicate that more effectively. So, yeah.
So if there were two or three bits of wisdom you would give to present undergraduate students at Lehigh, what would they be?
I would say don't give up, even when things get hard. Always believe the people that are cheering you on and telling you that you're doing great. That's my first one. And my second is to keep an open mind of what the future can hold. Yeah.
Miss Amaya, thank you very much. Wish you tremendous success as you move forward. Probably you've already started writing your thesis. All success in your thesis defense, all success in your future as a virologist and working in the cancer area. I appreciate the words of wisdom, and we leave our audience with keep an open mind. It is one of the key things to become anti-fragile. Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank
Amaya.
you, Dr. Douglas. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.